Hello, Internet. Welcome to another exciting edition of Eric's Corner with the word to the not-so-wise. I've been wanting to do this episode for a while. I know that I say that about a lot of my episodes, but it's been out of the news for 3 years, and I have a little trouble backpedaling that far to bring up an issue. But guess what? He's back in the news. Colin Kapernick, the pinnacle of a sellout, begging to get back into the NFL because, well, he's probably ran out of his Nike money. You know, stand for something even if it costs you everything, right? Now he's begging to be a quarterback again and promises not to cause any drama or bullshit. I mean, this issue has a lot of layers to it, so this was going to be a bit of a long one. There's a few issues that I'm going to go into. There was a criticism against Tim Tebow for Tebowing at the beginning of games, you know, taking a knee, taking a quick prayer, and so on and so forth. Oh, stop shoving your religion in our face. This isn't a time and place or whatever. But then Kaepernick is praised for his exhibition. Okay, fine. Protest. Peacefully protest. That's fine. That's great. But it's not peaceful. It was very disruptive and caused more controversy than it was worth. And then Nike gives him this $3 million contract to be their face of advertising. And then you wonder why people are like, well, screw Nike. You know, there was this dude had a mom and pop shop in New York, quit selling Nike because exercising his right to protest and go against something, well, then they burned his shop down. It's like, well, you can't support something and then not support it at the same time. I mean, you can, but that's just leftist ideology. It's just absolutely absurd, and just it's always just a radical difference between you know what you said you stood for and then what you're actually standing for. And you know, people were burning their Nike products and so on and so forth, and, you know, burning their season tickets. It's like, well, I mean, you know, your protest is causing more controversy than the issue you tried to bring to light. And then when Ford said, no, we're not pulling our advertising, people, oh, you're going to burn your truck now? Well, no. Ford would rather deal with backlash from sane, rational people than people with this hysteria that are going to throw bricks through the windows of their cars at their dealerships. So they remain neutral. Okay, that's not all the same thing as making him the face of your advertising because they thought it would make them money. And my list of things where people did this woke bullcrap or sided with the victim has not worked out a single time. And you know what? Deal with the consequences. I don't know what to tell you. And then Ford, they came out with an advertisement shortly after. Hey, if you're an electrician, we got a truck for you. If you're a carpenter, if you're an oil field hand, we got a truck for you. Come talk to us. We're here for the working man. We're here for the people that support the backbone of this country. I mean, I fail to see how you think you're relating not pulling their advertising is the same as what Nike did. It's not even on the same plane whatsoever. If they'd have pulled their advertising, again, people would be burning their cars at their dealerships, and they didn't want to deal with that kind of backlash. So they stayed neutral, which was a smart way to do it. Hey, we support peaceful protesting, which is what he supposedly did. Like I said, there's a few issues here that I'm going to go over. And I've been talking for, 3 or 4 minutes now, and I've only talked about the way Kaepernick has protested. The why has not even come up. And people have actually forgotten about why he did. I was talking to a friend of mine's mom, and she actually looked at me. She's like, wait, what was his protest about? I'm like, wow, that really drove my point home. And I reminded her it was about police brutality. And I mean, Candace Owens and all the people from the Daily Wire, they're all saying statistically, which I feel are very reliable, reputable journalists and a news source, are saying you're more likely to get shot unarmed as a white male. And I mean, it makes I don't know if it's more likely per capita or if it's per individual. I'm not quite sure, because there are 5 times more white people in this country than black people. They make up 12%. We make up 60%. So it would make sense that there would be more, but for it to be more per capita, there would have to be like 6 times more white people getting shot unarmed. And all this trying to street protest against police officers, you know, running up to them with your cell phone, shoving your phone in their face, interfering with their investigations, provoking them into confrontation, and then wondering why you get your ass kicked. Just stop. That is not the way to deal with this situation. You know, cracking your window this far and then, am I being detained? What law have I broken? What, blah, 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 blah. You were speeding. You know you were wrong. And police officers and precincts all over the country are showing these videos and saying, hey, here's what laws to cite. Here's what to do when somebody pulls this dumb shit. So they're staying one step ahead of you. Don't think you're ahead of them, because you're not. Because I've been seeing these things from the get-go of the cop clearly had his guns loaded and ready to deal with this type of confrontation. And, you know, I say when somebody wants to do this dumb shit, you know, there's one dude parked in a handicap zone and the cop was like, hey, I'm citing you a ticket, which if you're still in the car with it running, I don't think you're technically parked. Just put a boot on their car. When they do this dumb shit, just boot their car. They'll have to leave their car, and you call the tow truck companies and say, hey, when you happen by, tow their car. Just don't engage. That's what I think law enforcement should do. And I mean, if you really want to get crazy, take a pair of wire cutters and cut all their valve stems off and flatten all their tires. I mean, I'm not saying they should do that. That's way overstepping the bounds. I'm just saying do something to where they can't go anywhere, and it defers all this confrontation, because it's not working. You're street protesting, and yes, film police officers. You need to have citizen journalists and so forth, so it keeps them accountable. I really feel that, you know, if there's 60 million cameras going, let's just say that's a kind of a ridiculous number, but it's kind of a round number. There's a reason for it. I'm getting to it. You know, between body cams, dash cams, security cameras, dash cams in, you know, my own vehicles, for instance, third-party journalists, people with their cell phones videotaping cops. If there's 60 million of these going at a time, that's 1 million hours per minute we're getting of police interactions. And we're getting a very small handful of them being very wrong. And the videos where nothing happens, well, nobody posts those. The videos where nothing too controversial happens, those don't get posted. It's only the really controversial ones, or the things where the cop is, you know, again, kind of controversially wrong, not way wrong, because you don't see those. They don't hit the mainstream media. It doesn't cause turmoil and make us fight with each other and argue and create drama and bullshit. So you never really see these videos. So it's cherry picking. I mean, I'm not saying we don't have a huge problem with law enforcement, because we do, but it's cherry picking. You're only taking the most controversial shit and hitting mainstream media. And you know what? It's not trial by social media and public opinion. You know, the Kyle Rittenhouse issue, a court of law found him to have shot in self-defense. I mean, JP Sears did a really good comprehensive video of what the court determined after everything became public information. And he was found to be in self-defense. People were saying they were going to find him alone and take his gun and shoot him and so on and so forth. Somebody attacked him with a skateboard. Don't bring a skateboard to a gunfight, man. Get a helmet, dude. Life is tough. I don't know what to tell you. You guys are the ones out there riding and acting like jackasses. Don't be mad because you got bested by somebody who was armed correctly. And I mean, I don't know. That dude must have some tactical weapons training, because, I mean, he seems to have actually handled it like a boss. You know what I'd tell my own kids? If a cop says step out of the vehicle, you tell him, like, okay, sir, I'm a minor. I will step out of the vehicle when my father gets here. You give him don't reach for your phone. You give him my phone number, mom's phone number, grandpa, grandma, or whoever. I got lots of friends around here. I grew up in this area. Whole list of people you can call, and you go out, or, you know, I will come down and I will talk to him. If he insists no, say, well, sir, I'm a minor. I will step out when my dad gets here. If he insists that no, I won't, or, you know, you step out and when you're, you know, your dad can head down this way after, you know, as I talk to you, okay, fine. You do not provoke him. You do not say, oh, my rights, this, that, and the other thing. I mean, if you want to get your cell phone out, by all means, and you tell him, sir, I'm recording, so forth, set it someplace because I don't want anything in your hands. Okay, cool, fine. You know, again, don't make a situation worse. Just, that's what the court of law is for. I've taken almost every ticket I've ever gotten to court, and some have been thrown out, some of them haven't. Again, we do need some police reform. My qualm, I mean, yes, they are getting pretty trigger happy, but you're putting human beings into a situation where it might be life or death, and you have no idea how volatile a situation can be. So sending people into these who knows situations, you're kind of expecting a little bit too much out of them. Again, I'm not saying they haven't been wrong as hell a lot. And yes, there are times when they get very hard to defend, but you know, provoking them and poking at them is definitely, it's not helpful. I personally think they need to train in some more hand-to-hand martial arts and be better equipped that way. I mean, I don't know if I've mentioned before, I rigorously trained Krav Maga for a year. I've got around 350 hours of hand-to-hand combative martial arts training. The average police officer simply is not going to beat me in a fight. But what motive do I have to fight a cop? I don't. And I don't currently train. I'm completely fat and out of shape, and I don't have the flexibility that I once did. But I think they need to have better hand-to-hand martial arts training because they got things they can go to before they use deadly force or so on and so forth. And I'm a big fan of the taser. I think they should be used more often. And there was that cop that shot somebody accidentally because she grabbed her firearm instead of her taser. I mean, there's a reason that they're placed in different places on your body so you don't grab the wrong thing. So, I mean, I hate the term muscle memory because that's not what it is to me. It's your muscles are coded to do different things, depending on what your situation is. There was I'm getting a little off topic, but there was a police training academy that trained their cops to pick up their bullets between every time they shot at a station. Well, one dude the cop chased a couple of guys into an alley and shot the first guy, bent down to get his bullets, and the other guy ran out and stabbed him, and they found him later is how they knew what happened. It's like, well, he bent over to pick up his rounds because that was ingrained into his training, so they had to completely retrain a bunch of people. I mean, it's you know, military and tactical training is a very real thing, and you don't really understand it till you actually go through it and see, oh man, these things just kind of happen automatically. I know I'm missing something, but I think I've pretty much covered it. Again, enough of the cherry picking on police videos. If you're going to protest, take your protest to the government. Take your protest to the police precinct and stick to your guns. Don't just be a sellout like Miss Riley Gaines. You're still kicking ass. My very first video, I invited her onto my show if she wanted to talk, and I after that saw a interview with Charlie Kirk, and it was absolutely, it was great. It was a fantastic interview, and I got more to her story. So she wasn't deplatformed or canceled, which is great because she did nothing wrong. She is the victim here. So I hope this reaches some ears and maybe enlightens some people. Like I said, stop provoking police officers. It is not the way to protest. Take it to court. Make a video and cuss them out. Whatever you got to do, because this, street protesting, cracking your window bull crap. I mean, come on, walking around telling a police, filming a police officer for no reason, and when they approach you, ooh, I don't talk to cops. Wow. you're such a badass. Like, dude, I mean, he's going to you because you're filming and thinking you might be a witness. You know, I hope somebody jacks your stuff up someday and somebody else who caught it on film says, I don't talk to cops, and doesn't catch the person that destroyed your property or stole your whatever. I mean, you know, come on. It's just tacky. You know, you're not helping anything. Anyway, I feel like I've beat that dead horse to death, and I'm still beating it. So, anyway, if you're a fan of Eric's Corner, smash the subscribe button. I feel like I've gotten some pretty good response on my prior videos, and I hope to keep it going. Anyway, keep your stick on the ice. I hope you enjoyed my new background. I hope to do some interviews here soon and some other local videos. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.